In science fiction, migration often signifies relocation to underground cities, the ocean depths, or distant planetary colonies. However, this story explores a different kind of journey: migration into the future, a concept known as time migration. In essence, these people are time refugees. Liu Cixin's portrayal of time migration echoes H.G. Wells' The Time Machine, envisioning time as a river carrying humanity toward an uncertain future. Yet, unlike Wells's solitary traveller, the ambassador in time migration shoulders the collective hopes and memories of humanity, guiding an entire population into the unknown. The story opens with a mass exodus as humanity confronts severe environmental collapse and overpopulation. In response, the government places 80 million citizens under age 25 into cryosleep, intending to awaken them in 120 years. The ambassador, leader of the migration, stands before a vast cryogenic vault holding 400,000 people, just one of 200 such facilities worldwide. Enveloped in liquid ammonia at absolute zero, the ambassador lingers on memories of Hua. Though qualified to migrate, she chose to stay, convinced that the real world is worth treasuring. She left him to face this 120-year leap alone. As his consciousness froze, he drifted along the river of time, carrying the fate of 80 million souls. Outside, time swept by like a torrent. In an instant, 120 years passed, marking the first milestone of their exile, the Dark Era. When the ambassador awoke, disoriented, he wondered if something had gone wrong. However, the atomic clock confirmed it. 120 years had elapsed. They were now exiles in time. He was greeted by the captain of the advance team, who had woken a week earlier to establish contact with this era. However, something felt amiss. The captain appeared weathered, his skin as rough as dried bark. As they exited the cryo chamber, the ambassador beheld a monochromatic world. Forests, mountains, rivers, and even the sky were cloaked in shadow. A massive bomb crater, larger than any coal mine he'd seen, loomed in the distance. The ambassador learned the story. Soon after cryosleep began, resource wars erupted, leaving no victor. The skies darkened with black ash. Relentless black rain scoured the land, reducing the population to mere millions. The leader of this era offered to shelter the migrants, promising peace, but the ambassador, seeing the barren land, knew it could not sustain them. Resolutely, he chose to continue forward in time. Before leaving, he met a 123-year-old man, the last survivor of the migration era. With tears in his eyes, the old man clung to the ambassador, sharing a final toast of wine saved by his parents. Migrants who once hoped for reunion. But that day had never come. Moving forward, the ambassador and his people reached the Crystal Age 600 years later. He was astonished to find the captain looking even older than before. Over 6 centuries, the advance team had awoken every 100 years, searching for a settlement, only to find none. Now the captain warned him of unexpected dramatic changes. The ground was crystalline and oddly soft beneath their feet. The air was impeccably clean, devoid of any dust, and above them 6 blazing suns lit the world. The captain explained that night no longer existed. 200 years prior, 6 giant orbital mirrors were installed to reflect sunlight onto Earth's once dark side. Yet when the ambassador inquired about a welcome committee, the captain sighed, explaining, "In this era, curiosity has withered. Hospitality is obsolete. Though they've agreed to let us stay, we would only live in isolated reserves." "Unacceptable," the ambassador objected. "We didn't come this far to become second-class citizens." The captain, having lived in this era for months, explained resignedly, "In this world, people no longer learn by experience. Knowledge is implanted directly into the brain. Reproduction as we knew it has been replaced. Memories can be transferred, and continuity of consciousness has supplanted genetic legacy. Memory transplantation has granted immortality, making wisdom, beauty, and longevity into commodities." "Is this a utopia, then?" the ambassador asked. The captain shook his head. "Not exactly. When everything is within reach, nothing has meaning anymore." Reflecting, the ambassador found comfort in the sun's unchanging rise. He decided to press onward, bringing with him quantum chips and technology for knowledge implants. Just before entering cryosleep, Hua appeared in his dreams again, her sorrowful gaze anchoring him across the ages. The years swept by, and they awoke in the Intangible Age, 1,000 years into the future. The ambassador was again struck by what he saw. Though the crystalline ground remained, it no longer gleamed. The air felt lifeless. He soon learned that this world was divided between two realms, the tangible and intangible worlds, with neither welcoming them. In the tangible world, people were mere extensions of machines, each person existing in multiple bodies, including a single organic form, fragile yet cherished. Meanwhile, the intangible world was entirely digital, a vast memory within a supercomputer where individuals had transcended physical form, existing as programs and exerting godlike control over reality. Here, they could create entire empires, suns and galaxies, a life that absorbed all who entered. The captain speculated that individual existence within the intangible world would gradually dissolve, merging into a single collective consciousness. The ambassador sensed the journey's end still lay further ahead. They upgraded their cryosystems once more, setting the final awakening for 11,000 years into the future, ensuring that this time no one would awaken early, not even the advanced team. As he entered cryosleep, an overwhelming loneliness overcame him. Once again, Hua's face appeared, her eyes filled with silent resolve, her hair flowing like a timeless memory. "We are going home," he called to her in his dream, his voice echoing through the ages, and with that, he sank into darkness. More than 10 millennia passed as their journey reached its edge. The cryo-equipment began to falter, fusion reactors depleted, and the liquid ammonia evaporated. It seemed their journey would end in silence. But as the atomic clock ticked its final seconds, the last awakening protocol initiated. The doors opened, and the ambassador and his people stepped into a new dawn, 12,000 years into the future. They stepped out onto a lush green earth, under a brilliant blue sky, with mountains draped in forests and birds soaring above. It was a place of quiet peace and reborn nature, yet a bittersweet tranquility filled the ambassador's heart. After 3 epochs of exile, this calm felt like velvet, gently embracing his weary soul. But there was no trace of humanity here. Civilization had vanished, the land returned to a Neolithic state. The reactors released one final pulse, awakening the 80 million migrants. People emerged, setting foot on this vibrant earth. The ambassador raised a quantum chip from the Hall era, a symbol of humanity's fire of knowledge, and gazed at the crowd before him. Suddenly, his eyes found a figure in the distance, a small dark silhouette drawing nearer, growing clearer. That familiar long hair, those eyes he had thought lost forever, Hua, alive. She hadn't remained in that distant past. Across 12,000 years she had returned. When they embraced on the vast grassland, it felt as though heaven and earth had become one. Their love, crossing the vast distances of time and space, had finally found its home. Turning to the migrants, the ambassador spoke. "Citizens, what was meant to be a 120-year journey took us 11,000. Now you see it all. The past humans are gone. We are the last. And though we found no trace of them, they left us something. This sky, this prairie, these mountains, this reborn nature. This is their legacy." He paused, taking a deep breath. In the future, humanity may stumble and face hardship, but life and the human spirit will endure. Citizens, today the world is ours. We begin a new cycle of humanity. We may have nothing, yet here we hold everything. Long live our new life! The cry echoed across the prairie, reverberating in a world at peace. As one age ended, another quietly began.